You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Elon Musk says he is moving Tesla headquarters from California to Texas. Now, he threatened to do this back at the beginning. I guess we were a little bit into the whole pandemic thing. It was one of those deals where he said, yeah, I'm reopening my factory. And if you don't like that, we're moving to Texas. He made that statement. I remember him making that statement, or we're moving out of California, something along those lines. Well, now he's actually going to do it. He announced late last week, we're moving to Texas. Just headquarters though. Other divisions, other factories within California, they're going to get ramped up even further. So what's going on here? We're going to check that out. But before we jump on in, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies here in the Seattle real estate market in Washington State, and I read the news. It's what we're doing. All right, let's get into it. Elon Musk says Tesla will move headquarters from California to Texas. Remember at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a whole bunch of, we're all moving to Texas. Everybody's moving to Texas. And I think a lot of people have. A lot of people here from Washington State. You can imagine why, right? I mean, that's not a stretch. People are going to Idaho. People are going to Montana. People are going to Wyoming. A lot of people going to Texas. Affordability here in the Pacific Northwest has just disappeared. There isn't such a thing now. It is crazy expensive here. And if you're of a certain political leaning, you're gonna be likely to say, yeah, let's move out of the state. Where do you want to go? Anywhere along these lines of these states. And they're the states that I just, indicated to you. People aren't doing a lot of moving to Portland. Let's just say that, right? From Washington State anyway. And a lot of people from California are still moving to Washington because of our tech market. So we're going to get into a little bit of that today. All right. So what have we got going on? Tesla says it will relocate its headquarters from Palo Alto, California to Austin, Texas, though the electric car maker will keep expanding its manufacturing capacity in the Golden State. That's the thing I think everybody was thinking is, they're just pulling out of Texas, or they're just pulling out of California. They're not. And some might say they're doubling down because they get a lot of tax breaks. I've read through kind of the analysis of Tesla in California, and it's like they've got that state income tax of 13 point whatever percent. But with the amount of tax breaks that they are getting in California, they're not leaving. They're not going anywhere. CEO Elon Musk gave no timeline for the move late Thursday when he addressed the company's shareholders at Tesla's annual meeting. Is Elon Musk, I think is he living in Austin? Is he living in Texas? I know he's living in a tiny house that he doesn't own. I know he got rid of all of his real estate. And he's got an interesting life, doesn't he? I mean, he's obviously one of the world's wealthiest men. Is he like second in line now? He's always top three, right? Him and Gates, and somebody kind of rotates in there. Musk noted that the cost of housing in the Bay Area has made it tough for many people to become homeowners, and that translates into long commutes. Now, Elon Musk, is he really concerned about that? No, there's other business-related stuff going on, right? Although the Bay Area, yeah, housing affordability, worse than Seattle. Long commutes. Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. So that is a factor. But are people going to want to move? Are they going to want to relocate to the Bay Area? Are they going to want to relocate to Austin? I don't know. I guess it depends what your position is, how much money you're actually going to be making, all that good stuff. All those things go into it. Have you been to Texas in the spring or summer or fall? Pretty hot. It's pretty hot there. So climate in the Bay Area, a little bit more moderate than Texas. Spent some time in Dallas. It's hot. Like, go outside, run back inside because it's too damn hot. Granted, I'm from Seattle where we just don't have heat. If we get over 80 degrees here, I mean, the only thing that we're going to talk about is the weather. Yeah, it's so hot. I can't wait for fall. This is terrible. This is awful. Man, we've seen the sun 3 days in a row. I'm ready for fall to come. That's literally what people do. And then they complain, they bitch the rest of the 9 or 10 months out of the year when we don't have sun. It's so gloomy here. I can't wait for spring. But that's just, it's always, grass is always greener. So do you want to move to Texas from California? A lot of people are. Those stats are really interesting as well. So last year, tech giant Oracle Corp decided to move its headquarters from Silicon Valley to Austin. And their owner, he moved to his island in Hawaii. Yeah, interesting. He said, yep, I'm out. I'm gone. Larry Ellison. And saying the move that would give its employees more flexibility about where and how they work. That on top of it's beneficial to the owners in numerous other ways. But if you want to spin something, it's all about the employees. Give its employees more flexibility about where and how they work. All right. But isn't everybody working remotely now? So I just read that Amazon here in Seattle. So we've got Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. None of them have a heavy presence in downtown Seattle, going back into their office spaces in downtown Seattle. I just read that Amazon released a note saying, going to leave it up to our team leaders as to when they want to be back in the office. A lot of folks were saying, well, first quarter of 2022, we're going back to downtown. We're going back to our office spaces. I think that is when things will actually probably return. I had predicted quarter 3 or quarter 4 of this year. I didn't see the Delta variant coming. I know. How could I have missed that? I mean, this whole thing has just been, what? What are we doing? I thought everybody that had the vaccine was safe. I thought they were okay. I thought they were safe from other people who don't have the vac. Oh, I got that all wrong. Yeah, there's been a lot of things that logically to me haven't made a lot of sense. Moving out of California, moving a plant down to Austin, I can kind of see how that makes sense. Even if I don't know the intricacies of the actual data. We're not even going to come into science on this one because business, unless the business is science, it's like, what do the numbers say? Is it cheaper in Austin? Yes, than the Bay Area. Absolutely. Are people going to have better ability to buy housing? Yeah. Is that the main reason for this move? Absolutely not. But we are gonna check into one here that I think you'll enjoy. It's an article I'm going to finish out it's pretty funny. And this is really, I've got the scoop on why Tesla is leaving Texas. I mean, we got the real down low here. So let's go back to reality and we're taking it as far as possible, but there's a limit how big you can scale it in the big area, Elon Musk said. Just to be clear though, we will be continuing to expand our activities in California. This is not a matter of leaving California. And everybody's like, darn, I just wanted to rip on California. Everybody just wanted to rip on California. But you know what? Bottom line is, and people don't like to hear it, there's still a lot of people moving into California. There's still a lot of businesses moving into California. It's not this great exodus that everybody wants to point to. There's a lot of businesses moving into Chicago, believe it or not. These downtown areas are these areas where the business districts are. You know, sometimes it's a little different than like the south side of Chicago, right? Portland, north side of Portland, a little different than other areas of Portland, than like Lake Oswego or some areas there that have really nice housing. You don't lump those in, with the other ones because it's just night and day. But yeah, we've just got this narrative going where people are like, screw California. They're going down the toilet bowl. All right. Yeah, that might be, but there's still a lot of businesses cranking up in California. Musk stressed the plans to expand the company's factory in Fremont, California, where Tesla's Model S and Model X cars are built, in hopes of increasing its output by 50%. All right, we're doubling down. We're going to go hard in California. Okay, but its headquarters, it's going to be a little closer to where Elon Musk lives now. I know Joe Rogan lives there. It's got to be. Rogan lives in Austin. Just did a podcast last week, and people were like, and I basically I read the news stories. I'm not creating these narratives. I'm not creating these stories. I give you my opinion, but I was literally reading a story about how Austin's police department, they're kind of doing the same thing as they are up here in Seattle due to short on staffing of police officers. They're no longer responding to a bunch of calls because they're overwhelmed with the priority calls. Did a podcast on that, and so many people were like, you're wrong. That's not what's happening. And I'm like, I'm reading the news. Did you read the article yourself? Did you watch my podcast? Maybe you didn't, because I think so many people just look at the thumbnail and they look at the title of the video and go, and then they just immediately have their own opinion. And they just crank off that comment. All right. It's all right. I'll read it. I'll read your opinion. But if you haven't watched the video, if you haven't watched or listened to the podcast, maybe you might be missing out a little bit on my perspective, because most of the time my perspectives are what I consider to be reasonable based on, I look at both the right and then I look at the left. And so this one here is the big takeaway here is that they're not leaving Texas. And that's what you're going to hear. They're pulling out of Texas entirely. Well, that's not the case. So the announcement drew cheers and applause from a small audience at Tesla's manufacturing plant in Austin, where Musk delivered his remarks, which were webcast live. Of course they were. Why would you do anything just pre-recorded? Got to go live. Got to be live. Live stream that bad boy. Musk touted the company's record vehicle deliveries this year, while noting that global supply chain disruptions that have led to a shortage of computer chips remain a challenge. Seems like we're waiting for computer chips for everything, right? Everything. I got to get an appliance package for my house, which is just about done with the remodel. It's so boring shopping for appliances. I just don't care. Just give me a fridge that fits. Give me a stove that fits. Give me what's the other one I got? Oh, dishwasher. Truly don't care about dishwasher. Although, if I can't fit my dishes in that damn dishwasher the way I want to, I am just going to have a cow. Nah, I find the whole kitchen thing kind of annoying. I just want to go to my fridge and open it up and go, oh, this is a good fridge. It's got lots of good food. I don't care how it gets there from point A to point B, but I've had to pick that out. And that's annoying. And then you get to the end. My point of this story is you get to the end where you're going to order it. It's like, that's backed up 14 weeks and you may or may not get it to that point. Microchips, supply chain. So I'm ordering through Home Depot, and I wonder how many other people are doing the same thing. I'm ordering through Home Depot, number one, because they've got pretty good pricing. I can compare that to, I compared the same fridge from Lowe's to Home Depot. They were $1 off. I can't remember what the actual price was, but it was like, that's $1 off. So, okay, I'm doing a good job here. I'm being a bargain shopper. I'm not picking the highest thing. I'm not picking the lowest thing, and somebody else is price checking that. So, there's that. But I'm going with Home Depot because I did a podcast that they've got their own shipping container ships, and my fridge could be on one of their own ships. It could. So I felt good about that. I have no idea if that makes any sense at all, but I can also go to Home Depot and I can check out some of the product there, right? Whereas this other stuff, you're like, all right, that's online and I don't really know if I'm ever going to get the fridge. So do I send them my whatever thousands of dollars? Don't really know. But it seems like we're waiting for a chip or we're waiting for a supply chain. And I kind of think this fall and this winter, particularly with the holidays coming up, we could be in for a real cluster as far as the supply chain goes. Like go to Costco and have it just basically be, not much there. Sold out. So working through this kind of stuff, and Tesla, even though they've got a shortage of computer chips, they're kicking out their cars, right? That's what we're being told. As a result, production of Tesla's Angular Cybertruck pickup, have you seen that? It's weird looking. Do I really need a Cybertruck built by Tesla? I don't think so. I'll stick with my 1992 crew cab F350. Yeah, it's big. Doesn't fit in normal parking lots, and I like that. So we've got the production of Angular Cybertruck pickup. It isn't likely to begin before the end of 2022, Musk said, estimating that the company would reach volume production on the vehicle in 2023. How much is one of those bad boys going to be? Like $100,000? I just wonder. And do you really want, like the first model Cybertruck? Some people do. Yep, I get that. Yeah, but that's just not me. Give me a Ford. Give me a Chevy. Don't give me a Dodge. We should be through our severest supply chain shortages in 23, he said. I'm optimistic that that will be the case. Tesla said last week that it delivered 241,300 electric vehicles in the third quarter, even as it wrestled with the shortage of computer chips that has hit the entire auto industry. Yeah, we're just all kinds of industries are being held up right now, right? You call somebody to get something done. Of course, I have the incredible timing during the pandemic to do a remodel on my house. It's pretty extensive remodel, studs down in a bunch of the rooms. And so then you got to have just a bunch of stuff. And it's like, when are you going to get that done? To my contractor. Supply chain issues. All right. Yep. Get that. So the company's sales from July through September beat Wall Street estimates of 227,000 sales worldwide. All right. So they're punching out some cars. Third quarter sales rose 72% over the 140,000 deliveries Tesla made for the same period a year ago. So pandemic and all, they are kicking out some cars. So far this year, Tesla has sold around 627,300 vehicles. That puts it on pace to soundly beat last year's total of, call it, just shy of 500,000 cars. They're making some cars. Now, let's talk about the real reason Tesla moved to Texas, and it was because California lawmaker tweeted, F Elon Musk. Uh-oh, we've got shenanigans here. That doesn't sound good. Somebody tweeted that about Elon Musk? I can't believe that. That is shocking. How about, and I talked about this a little bit on my last podcast. I can't remember if I talked about it last week, but how about, let's go, Brandon. How about that cheer? Did you hear that cheer? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to Google that. You're going to be offended if you listen to what the crowd actually said, and you can imagine what they said. It wasn't a complimentary term towards our president, but the newscaster, in the hopes of kind of diverting the attention away from that chant being said, and that was that in Alabama? I can't remember where that was. I think it was Alabama. She came up with the thought that the crowd was actually chanting for the winner of, what was that? The Talladega something. And his name was Brandon. She said, oh, listen, or whatever. They're chanting, let's go, Brandon. And they weren't. And that's funny. Good try by NBC to cover that one up. But yeah, the tweet that the California lawmaker said about Elon Musk, yeah. And people go at it that hard on like Twitter. I'm just like, all right, are you 8 years old? What are you doing here? F Elon Musk, and was not abbreviated. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has suggested an insult from a California lawmaker was a key factor in his decision to shift his company's headquarters out of the Golden State to Texas. Maybe we are 10 years old. Yeah, she said F off. So I am. We're leaving, going to Texas. Musk confirmed on Thursday that Tesla would move from Palo Alto to Austin, where it had been building a new factory for just over a year. During an annual shareholder meeting, Musk said Tesla would continue to operate electric. Okay, we heard all about that. We're bored to tears of that by now. We heard about it's tough for them to find housing for the workers. But on Twitter, Musk validated a post on a Tesla fan blog that suggested a spat between the billionaire and California Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez influenced the move. So those three words, F Elon Musk, made Tesla move from California to Texas. No, but they certainly didn't help, right? It's kind of blaming the rise in murder throughout the United States on the defunding of the police. No, you can't blame it all on that. But it certainly didn't help. It wasn't one of those things where, oh, yeah, she told me to F off. I'm going to stay just because, wow, she really likes me. She really wants me here. So this decision has a strong financial rationale. It also follows after a member of the California legislature publicly used obscene language towards Musk in May of 2020. The post on Tasmanian.com said, Musk shared the post titled, Tesla moved its headquarters to Texas following explicit offer from California Assemblyman. He also added the message, exactly. Interesting. The comment Musk had taken exception to was a tweet from Gonzalez, a Democrat, in May 2020, which said, F blank blank K Elon Musk. At the time, Musk responded to her insult with message received. So he's kind of saying, yeah, I don't know. That's all silliness, right? I mean, somebody insults you on Twitter, you don't move your company. Or do you? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Yeah, she really insulted me. He gets insulted way worse than that all the time, guaranteed. I get insulted all the time, and I'm just on YouTube, and all these podcast platforms. People say mean stuff. It's like, all right, yeah, I see your point. I disagree with you. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I appreciate your input. Telling me to F off. Okay, that's what we're doing. In a follow-up tweet, Gonzalez said her state had highly subsidized a company that has always disregarded worker safety and well-being, has engaged in union busting, and bullies public servants. Does it really? I mean, really? Or is it just kind of standing up for what it believes in? The whole disregarding worker safety, that kind of sounds like a worker of the world unite type deal, right? I have seen some stories on that. Until you do the deep dive, who knows? She admitted that she would have expressed her feelings in a less aggressive way, but that no one would have cared if I tweeted that. See, you got to tweet out something pretty harsh to get somebody's attention. Is that what we're saying? You just got to be super mean and just go for the throat. That'll get some likes. That'll get some forwards. That'll get some, little heart-shaped clickaroos. She slung the insult during a standoff between Tesla and the California legislature over reopening his Fremont factory in violation of Alameda County's COVID-19 precautions in 2020. I remember that story. I think I read that story, or I read that story as part of another podcast. It was like Wednesday, and he said, yeah, we're opening up. And if you don't like it, we're going to move our company out of state. So I think it was, and this is back May of 2020 when we're coming out of that first lockdown. I think we were, and everybody was like, we've got to get back to normal. Geez, little did we know a year and a half after that, we're still just monkeying around with all kinds of nonsense. But Elon Musk said, yeah, we're opening up. And it was like a Thursday and a Friday. He told people to start coming in. And they cranked up the equipment, they cranked up the factory, and by Monday they were going. And by Monday he'd worked out something with the powers that be in California, because he was just basically, yeah, we're opening up. And so that's what we're talking about is him basically standing up for the fact that he's like, yeah, we're opening up. There's none of this shutdown stuff anymore. We're not doing that. We're opening up. And I thought that was kind of gutsy, but he is, one of the wealthiest men in the world, and he kind of just does whatever he wants. He's on a little different playing field than the rest of us. So Musk sued the county over the stay-at-home order that closed the company's factory, although he dropped the legal action 11 days later when he was able to open up his factory. In response to one Twitter user's criticism of her for driving business out of California, Gonzalez was defiant, tweeting on this past Friday, "You mean Elon Musk is such a snowflake that he moved from California because I said a censored bad word about him? Wow, isn't that weak?" That's literally what she tweeted. That's why I don't do the Twitter game. I just don't. It's a bunch of people looking for attention, just tweeting stuff out. And you're like, oh, you said that? Oh my gosh, I better respond. Oh, and they forward it on. It's all kinds of stuff. Granted, there are people who tweet good stuff or links to things that are important, but how many different sources can you have? I choose kind of not to do the Twitter. I will look at Twitter content, but I think for the most part, a lot of it's just this. Wow, isn't that weak? And somebody literally sat there and you took the time out of their day and their life that they'll never get back to justify why they sent the first tweet out, which was an attention-seeking tweet, right? I mean, it just was. So much of this stuff is like, really? And now you and I have spent that last 30 seconds talking about it. We can't get that time back. Never. Sorry. Apologies. Yeah, that wasn't a good call. But I mean, that's literally what so much of this stuff is. It's like, I spent 10 minutes reading that article for that? That's ridiculous. No, I think Tesla, I think there's a bunch of different reasons. Money typically being the big driver, whatever it is, whether it's bottom line to Musk, whether it's bottom line to employees, whether it's bottom line in their factories there. But the fact that they're still going to keep the factories they've got going already and try and crank those up, maybe they're just expanding more in Texas. I don't know. Don't mess with Texas. That was always a pretty good campaign to keep the streets of Texas clean. All right, that's it for me. But I wanted to read this last this last little thing about F Elon Musk. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go, Brandon. I will leave you with that because that is funny. Let's go, Brandon. All right. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for being part of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. I'll catch up with you soon. We'll talk then. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.